Hi everyone, welcome back to Aspergers from the Inside. You're here with Paul. I make weekly videos sharing the human side of autism, so make sure you hit subscribe to get the latest content. So this week's video is on recovering from burnout. So you may or probably may not have noticed that I didn't release a video last week, and that's because I've just taken nearly 2 weeks off because I had to. I woke up on Wednesday morning and realized that there was absolutely no way that I was going to get through the rest of my week. So I lay awake at 4 a.m. in the morning, planning all the emails that I was going to send to cancel all of my appointments that day. And it was really hard. It was a really hard decision to make and reality to accept that I really had to cancel what seemed to be really important. I felt like I was letting people down because I'd made an appointment and I had to cancel it. Fortunately, by the time I actually sent the emails, I got a reply almost straight away saying, yes, of course, that's no problem. We can reschedule, etc. So that was nearly 2 weeks ago. And I realized that I had to take a significant amount of time off. I already felt burnt out, to use that word fairly lightly, the week before. I got to Thursday and it was already really, really hard. And I thought, that's it. I'm going to take the rest of today off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Surely that's going to be enough for me to feel okay. It clearly wasn't enough. I thought 4 days would be fine. 4 days sounds like a lot. But what I have learned with my own energy and my own tendency towards burnout is I usually need at least twice as much as I optimistically think I need. It's so hard to justify to myself to not fulfill the commitments that I've already agreed to, that I find myself being overly optimistic. Okay, I know I need to do something. My body is telling me that enough is enough. I know I need to do something. What if I do this and this and this? Knowing full well that it's not going to be anywhere near enough, but I just really hope that 4 days would be enough. But come Monday morning, clearly that was not gonna happen. I managed to push myself another 2 days and then ended up taking the rest of the next 2 weeks off. So why am I telling you this? I guess one of the reasons is because it's so much easier to give this advice to someone else than it is to take it for myself. So I just wanted to recognize that even though it's intellectually it's a no-brainer of a decision that if I am not productive at all, if I turn on my computer and within 5 minutes I'm already struggling to read the screen because my eyes are so blurry, I need a break. That's a no-brainer. But from an emotional perspective, it's hard to bring myself to take the time that I know intellectually I need, especially when the time that I know intellectually that I need is a long time and it seems very, very hard to justify. Suddenly there's all these secondary thoughts like, surely I don't really need 2 full weeks off. Surely there must be another way. Or alternatively, why is this such a problem for me? This should not be a problem for me. I want to find a way to change the way that I work so that I don't have this problem anymore. And none of those thinking styles are particularly helpful at the time. Another reason that it is very important, for me at least, to decide in advance how long I'm going to need to take is because it's hard to know if the rest is working. 1 day in, 2 days in, I still feel the same. Or alternatively, sometimes after just a very, very brief rest, suddenly I feel fine again. This is great. I thought I needed 2 weeks. It turns out I only needed 1 day. And now I feel great. I feel refreshed. Actually, what's happening is I feel fantastic because I no longer feel overwhelmed. I'm still incredibly stressed. I'm still at my limit. It's just that I'm this much on the good side of my limit, which feels great compared to this much on the bad side of my limit that feels like overwhelm and things like that. So it's difficult to trust how I feel in the moment, which means that I have to trust my decision of how long to take off. And then, even if I feel better, even if I don't feel better, just do it. I know that I need the time off. And then when I get to work on Monday morning, like this morning, sometimes I still feel terrible. And I'm thinking, do I need another week off? I've already ignored people for 2 weeks. What's another day? What's another week? Maybe I should take more time off. And that's because I don't know, there's no way for me to actually tell what my state is until I go back to work, until I test it again. So I guess the moral of the story for me is that long breaks are necessary. I have quite a long transition time. I can't just take one night off and expect that to do anything. I need to take several days, at least 2 or 3 days in a row, to allow my brain the time to slowly unwind and to slowly relax and to actually appreciate the restorative value of having that time off. Whereas if I just take an afternoon off or an evening off or 1 or 2 days off, then it just doesn't have time to actually de-stress and recover in any way. So the cues for me are that when the cycles until I hit my limit are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. I used to be able to do 2 weeks, and then I could do 1 week, and now I can do 3 days, and now I can do 1 day, and now I can do 5 minutes before I feel like I'm back to my limit again. It's just like I'm not resting. The rest is not actually restorative in any way. And that's when I know I need to take a significant amount of time off. In this case, 2 weeks. And I'm just hoping this is the first thing I've done coming back, just telling you about it. And I really hope that when I get back stuck into it, that I'm going to be able to feel the benefits of the restorative properties of actually taking that time off. And I guess another thing when it comes to taking time off is it's not a real break if you don't actually reduce the amount of commitments. So I had to drop some things. Imagine if instead of dropping some things, I just let them pile up. And now, after 2 weeks, the first thing I'm hit with is 2 weeks worth of undone stuff that I need to catch up on. That is a recipe for diving straight into burnout again. The reason that I reached my limit was because I was doing too much and not quite keeping up with it. And when that happens for an extended period of time, not quite keeping up, not quite resting enough, then it builds up and it needs some release and some time to recover from that. So if I were to go back and try and read 2 weeks worth of unread emails and try and respond to them with as much effort and energy as I was previously, then what's the point of my 2 weeks off? I'm just going to burn myself out in a day trying to catch up on all the stuff that I'm going to be doing. So it's really hard to give ourselves permission, but it's also, in my opinion, incredibly important, especially for long-term productivity. If those cycles are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, then that's a bad trajectory. I need to do something about that trajectory as soon as possible. And unfortunately, heartbreakingly, sometimes it involves letting stuff go. The plus side is that it also involves allowing myself to say yes to the things that I would enjoy doing, the things that would give me energy that I didn't think I had time for before. So suddenly I was hit in the face with 2 weeks worth of time and lots of time and nothing to do with it. in lockdown here in Melbourne this past couple of weeks. That's been fun. And it's allowed me to look at what are the things that actually give me energy. Rest is not, well, recovery and recuperation is not just about rest. It's not just about taking away the stressful things, which is important, but it's also about doing the restorative things. What gives me energy? What do I have more energy after doing than I did before doing? So things like exercising, things like phone calls and socializing. For me, actually getting some mental stimulation and social stimulation is really helpful. And sometimes when I'm in that really exhausted state, that is when I'm most sensitive to noticing these things. Like I have lights here at the moment, right? I always have them. It's a necessary part of the process. It doesn't bother me too much. However, if I'm really tired, suddenly lights bother me a lot. If I'm really tired, suddenly sounds and annoying things bother me a lot. And what's happening there? What's going on there? They are not costing me more energy than they do normally. The only difference is I have no energy to pay for it. If someone says you need 20 cents, otherwise you're not going to eat today. If you don't have 20 cents, it doesn't matter how low the cost is if you don't have it. So for me, that is really helpful information. Learning about myself, learning what gives me energy and what takes away energy, even the stuff that takes such a small amount of energy that I don't normally notice it because I've usually got plenty and it doesn't really matter. It helps me to design a life where I have more of the stuff that gives me energy and less of the stuff that unnecessarily takes my energy away. Anyway, I should probably leave it there. This video has been about recovery and restoring and resting after burnout. So if you have a story or what burnout looks for you, I'd love to hear what that is in the comments. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience. Thank you to everyone who was so accommodating for me, allowing me and encouraging me to give myself permission to take a break. That's incredibly helpful emotionally. And I will see you all next week. Thanks.